Hello and welcome back to Woodhill Park. Hello again, and you join me deep in thought about adding some more foliage to the layout. I was quite inspired by watching or looking at Making Tracks 4 and looking closely at some of the undergrowth they've been building, and predominantly it's horsehair, well, rubberised horsehair, and sea foam and other stuff just blended together with sort of flocking added to it. That's what it looks like anyway. Just a mess of stuff that possibly once it's finished, and in their case it does look very much like bracken and undergrowth with like tall bushes and maybe saplings mingled between it. So I'm having a go myself, and it's just a bit of a stab in the dark whether it's going to work. But sea foam I'm just sticking into the horsehair, and the horsehair I've teased out so it doesn't look like anything like it comes in, because it comes in a block, and I don't want it to look anything like it resembles when you buy it. So a random sort of teasing out of it, plus adding sea foam. But the sea foam, I don't want many sort of twiggy bits, so I'm removing the large stems from the sea foam and just poking in sort of the smaller pieces of sea foam, and I intend to sort of add some fine flocking to it and see what happens. Oh, I've just put some more light on it, but as you can see it just looks like one big pile of mess really. But I'm just hoping it's going to end up looking like a load of shrubbery that I can put between sort of the embankment and the rafters, and possibly even sort of up the rafters to sort of hide some of the rafters as they come down into the layout, this being a loft layout. So I'm just putting layering spray all over this. And I'm just going to cover it in a variety of flockings. And hope for the best really. Flocking I'm using is coarse turf, sort of a light green. You could save some of this if you were quite careful, but I got so much of it I'm not too worried about wasting some of it. Yeah, usual processes of vacuuming it up and whatever, but I just want to make sure this is well covered and I've got plenty of the stuff, so I'm not frightened to use quite a bit really. A lot of this is not going to stick, so I'll turn it over, try and get it into the sides as well. Now this could be a complete failure. Or it could be a nice bit of bracken. Time will tell. Anyway, I could save some of that underneath actually, just by sliding this off. And that's probably not really worth saving. In fact, I'm not going to bother, it's so contaminated it's going to go straight in the bin. Right, layering spray. Plenty of it. I'm wondering about different colour flockings, whether to add a slight dark flocking or a brighter. Got some brighter flocking here. Hint of that maybe. Add some different colours to it. Rather than just one type of green. As in reality, nature comes in all different shades of green and it's all mixed up. Looks a bit of a mess, but we'll see. I need some more layering spray. And I'm back. And the layering spray is topped up again. Right, here we go. Straight in here. Absolutely covering it really. So I want it to stick. Looks like the nozzle's blocked up, which is quite a normal occurrence when you're trying to use a damn spray. So I'm going to have to put that under a hot tap, but I've got most of it covered now. I don't think there's much more to. In fact, to be honest, I can be quite brutal and just pour some of this on, I think. Some of the bigger parts of it. Because I really want this to stick, I'm going to even add some watered down PVA as well. Try and get the lid off. Well, after a bit of a crushing time with a bottle, a pair of grips, I've got the lid off. And I'm going to use some watered down PVA as well, because I really want all this to stick together. Take some time to dry though, especially this time of year now. But hopefully when I've finished I should be able to pick this up and just place it where I want it, and maybe just fettle about with it until it sits nicely in the landscape. I think that'll do. So, need to wait until the morning and hopefully some of that's dried. But I'll show you where I'm going to fit it if it comes off. If it actually works, I'm going to fit it between here. As this is pretty much not doing anything at all, and it doesn't look sort of very populated with undergrowth. Also, I've got these uprights that hold the roof up, which I might be able to disguise a bit better. Then hopefully when I look down here there'll be more undergrowth on the left, and if this works I might continue some of this further down. But as I said, it's all an experiment. But that's what modelling is all about, really. Well, I don't know. Do you think that looks like it's going to fit on there? It's going to be wait until the morning to even come close to trying it. I think it might add some depth, the depth I've been looking for, to make this embankment look more overgrown, as it just looks sparse and not very real. Meanwhile, I've been preparing for my first ever toy fair, selling that is. I've been to loads over the years buying, but I made this decision to actually sell some of my collection now, and it's been a monumental task sorting out all the boxes and trying to find the logos that match the boxes. But I've got some in boxes, some not in boxes, and some steam, some diesel. I've just got so much. Another box full there. Boxes of stuff here. Boxes here. All these boxes under here. Got locos in them, carriages in them. And I've got more stuff in the garage. I'm not going to be able to sell this stuff all in one go. It's going to be a long process. But I am looking forward to finally finding a new home for it and giving myself some more room in the loft. It took me an age pricing all this stuff and going through it and test running it, making sure everything worked, so that I could guarantee whoever bought it that there wouldn't be any issues running wise, as I wouldn't like to be sold something that didn't work. So they've all been tested, they've all been sort of, notes have been added to say whether they're good runners, excellent runners, or whatever. And a load of rolling stock as well. Just boxes and boxes of it. Can't believe how much I've accumulated over the years. Possibly against my better judgment, I decided to move it and put it on the embankment while it was still wet, as I thought the glue would drip through and actually adhere it to the embankment side, which I wanted. And I added more glue to it and a bit more flocking, and I put it in place, and I've got the old faithful fan blowing on it to help it dry. And hopefully it dries maybe by tomorrow or the end of tomorrow. Even though it looks quite white at the moment because of all the glue, I think it's starting to look like I envisage, and it's got quite a bit of height now, and looking well overgrown. And that's the sort of look I was going for. Hopefully when it dries it still looks good. If this does work, I'll be adding some more, say, around this part of the layout, and possibly building up this area as well, because that's where it's going to finish at the moment. So maybe round here to cover some of this, rather than have the rafters looking so prominent. I'd rather have an overgrown embankment. I think this part will be staying though, as the top of this embankment there is a field, so I think that looks quite good, and I'll be leaving that as is. This area looks like it might be a candidate for it as well, but I've got to bear in mind I've got to reach over to get to the locos, and if I want to film it could make it really difficult if I build it up too much. Even though I have got a substation that I made some months ago with the idea that it could be removed, which it still can be, and like I've done in the past, the camera can be placed down in this area, film along the embankment. Now it's all dry, I have been going along trimming certain parts of it, as there's loops of horsehair that come out every so often, and they don't look very realistic. You don't get loops of anything generally coming out from bushes, so I've taken anything that don't look natural away with a pair of scissors. But I think it's looking quite good, and it's definitely a method that's worth investing some time in, and I'll be adding this to elsewhere on the layout, I think, as I'm quite impressed with it. It's a reasonably quick way of doing stuff, and bulking up the scenery either side of the embankment. But it's worth learning these things off of each other, and sort of discovering different ways of doing things, as we all don't know everything about everything, and we can all learn from each other. So I was glad that I was studying how they'd been making some of the fauna on Making Tracks 4. It was well worth studying it and filming it, and I've sort of done my own version here, which I'm quite satisfied with, and I will be, as I've probably already said, adding it elsewhere on the layout, as it seems to do what I want it to do, and that's give a real sort of rough, sort of overgrown embankment look as the trains travel through. Well, thanks for watching again. Hope you enjoyed this little sort of playing about with fauna, and you may have learnt something, as I did as well, of how to sort of beef up your foliage, you might say. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Goodbye for now.